Okay, so stage 4 today. This is our stage 4 outcomes here. So number 1, front crawl breathing to the side. We've already had a front crawl progression video, so for more information go back to that. But for the front crawl breathing to the side, I would usually start with a woggle for the early introduction. Just rest their arms by the side. They all know the speedboat already, so they're all comfortable kicking with the face in, fast legs. But they're going to turn their head to the side. I usually say for a sneaky breath because it helps them to kind of keep their head low and tuck it in more. And they find it fun to be a game. I'm going to look and see if I can see anybody looking forwards. I shouldn't be able to see your face at the front. Turn to the side. Don't let me see your ear. Hide it in the water. Things like that so you can make it fun. After that point, they can try it with the float. So float out in front, turning your head to the side with your arm down here. Try to avoid here because there's no space for them to breathe. The arm is in the way, so arm by your side. Then you can put it in with the arms. So 1, 2, and breathe on 3, alternating arms onto the float. And then they can try without. One thing that I've noticed a lot of them do struggle with is this position, okay? So when we're on our side, we need this arm stretched out on the surface. I usually tell them if your arm falls down, your head falls down, okay? And we don't want to see them scoop in. They have a tendency to try and do this. So it needs to be a Superman position, ear flat on your arm, relaxed, and you're only using your legs, kick, 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 to move along, okay? So by the end of stage 4, they should be able to do front crawl, alternating breaths to the side. Number 2, breaststroke arms and legs without aid with their head up. So moving on from stage 3 then, they now haven't got their woggle on. Obviously you can still do all the practices, so we can still do the frog legs on the woggle if you need to, or with a float or without the float on the back. You can still do progressive practices, but they should be able to do 5 metres, head up, chin in, round arms, froggy legs. Just be mindful that the hands need to be small, so we don't want to see them going wide, we don't want to see them going behind, we don't want to see them going down under the surface. They've got to stay at the surface, in front of them, and come under their chin, okay? That's important because that pull there when we tuck in is what's going to keep their head up. So if they're struggling to swim with their face here, they're constantly ducking under or putting their head in, it's probably something to do with the arm pull. So we're going to keep it small, keep it narrow, tuck it in under their chin, okay? I sometimes say, draw your pizza where you can eat it. So it needs to be in front of your mouth, nom, 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 where you can eat it. That helps them to remember sometimes. Number 3, dolphin leg kick, arms by the side. And that's important because it's a lot easier to get the undulation with the arms by the side rather than up here at front, okay? This is a progressive practice for later, maybe in stage 4. So when they're first learning, arms by the side, feet together, face in the water, and they're pushing their hips up and down, okay? The rest of the body is relaxed, and that's the only movement. You'll find that at first they try to bend their knees to make them move, but we need to try and tell them it's their bottom. So down, up with the bottom, and that helps them to move through the water. You can use a dolphin or a mermaid to help them understand. If they're coming under the surface, so when they start the dolphin, they're going down and down and down like this, you can tell them to push the back of their head up, so their swimming cap or their hair, and then their bottom. Hair, bottom, and that will keep them at the surface. So dolphin kick arms by side. Next one is treading water for 30 seconds. I'm going to do a treading water video, so we won't go into it too much. But they need to be in an upright position, so vertical in the water with their legs underneath them. They're doing a breaststroke leg kick out to the side and sculling a stationary skull. So stationary skull is palms facing the floor, in and out, and froggy legs out to the side. You will find the wider they kick their frog legs out, the easier they'll find it to stay up, okay? So this is the traditional treading water with breaststroke legs. You can also do an egg beater, which I would put into a stage 4, not a stage 3. You're doing the same technique, but basically kicking one leg out and then the other one, rather than them both at the same time. And what that does is make sure you're pushing all the time, so it's a little bit of a stronger kick. Water polo players use this because you can get yourself up nice and high in the water, okay? I would avoid this kick, okay? that's better with breaststroke legs or egg beater. Push and glide, 2 lengths front crawl, push and glide 2 lengths back crawl. The 2 lengths back crawl shouldn't be too tricky at this stage, because by the end of stage 3 they were swimming full back crawl, so that might be nice and easy. So push and glide with their arms up on the back, 2 full lengths of back crawl nice and neat, 2 full lengths of front crawl nice and neat. Surface dive to the pool floor. So we've already done some work with the hoop. I think I might have talked about surface dives, but we're just making sure that they're doing, show you this way, a tuck position. So it's almost like a mushroom. Rotate in the tucked position, and once they're upside down, then they stretch out straight, and that's what gives them some of the push to go down. We also need to talk about blowing out so that they can sink. They can do a surface dive just to touch the floor. They can do a surface dive to pick a sinky up. They can do a surface dive to swim through the sink hoop, okay? But what you're looking for is that technique. Are they tucking up like a mushroom? Are they rotating at the surface? And then are they extending their body before they go down? When they're going down, they can use breaststroke arms and kicking legs. That's typically the easiest way to swim under the water, breaststroke arms, kicking legs. But I want to see that technique, rotate and then stretch out. Perform a sequence of 3 changing shapes whilst floating. So in the floating video we talked about this. You can put the star, the pencil and the mushroom all together in a sequence. They need to be able to do it in stage 4, okay? It's all about breath control, confidence, relaxing in the water and moving in the water. Perform a forwards roll. So take that mushroom float and turn it into a rotation. So for this we need to make sure we remind them to blow out of their nose. So I say take a big breath and hum, or they can take a big breath and blow, either or. So you're in a mushroom shape, chin on your chest, and they need to use their hands to push the water backwards. If they push the water backwards, they will roll forwards, okay? Just talk to them about staying in a ball shape. A ball rolls easier than something flat, so they need to be tucked up. You don't want them coming out. If they start to roll and go wonky, it's one of 2 things. Either they're not confident and comfortable to go all the way around, so they're actively getting halfway and coming out of it, okay? That will just come with time. They just need time to practice and gain the confidence, maybe some time going under the water, blowing out of their nose. Or it could be that they're not using both their hands the same at the same time. If we've got one pulling stronger, they're going to rotate this way and not this way. So we need to talk to them about keeping both hands exactly the same. They've got to do the same size circles, the same strength, and pull in the same way, and then they'll go straight round. Push and glide under the water. So we should be really competent at push and glides by now. But what I want to see is that they can sink down and push off. So at Easthorpe and Hollybank, they can maybe just do a little jump off the floor and sink under and then push and glide. At Manor, I get them to do just a little jump off the ledge and sink down and then push their feet off the ledge. But what we're looking for is that they've got some finger control to where they need to go. So I always tell them they're like your steering wheel. If you want to go down, you point your fingers down. If you want to go along, you make them flat. So for example, if they were doing a push and glide through the hoop, they'd have to go flat. And if you want to come back up, you point your fingers back up, okay? And we're looking for a glide under the surface, along, and then for them to be able to come back up to the surface. And the last one is scull head first for 10 metres. So I will do a sculling video, we'll get there, eventually get down to that. But basically they're going to float on their back, keep the legs together so there's no kicking, legs are just relaxed. And they can all float on the back because we've done stars, we've done pencils, they're all competent with that. Just make sure that they're pushing their tummy up and their head is back with the ears in the water. Then they use their hands to push the water to their feet, and it's a small, fast push. It comes from the wrist, okay? So here, the hand is actually stiff, otherwise you're not going to be able to scoop and move that water. So it's not like this. It needs to be a scoop with the hand and you move at the wrist, okay? We're coming back, pushing forwards, coming back, pushing forwards, okay? It needs to be in by the side, so I say keep it nice and close to your legs. We don't want it here, like a bird, okay? Small and fast, and keep it in at the side, okay? The smaller and the faster they push, the faster they'll move, and you can eventually turn it into a race if they want to scull together. At first, you can put something between the legs so they can use the bricks, which might just give them a little bit more buoyancy, a bit more confidence. So they can put that between the legs, and if you say squeeze it to keep it there, and then just use your hands, this might keep the lower body up until they're competent with it. And then the award for this one is 10 metres, so we're just swimming a further distance. So if you're confident, that they're competent, swim in a distance of 10 metres, which is probably the full length everywhere. So Hollybank is 10 metres, Easthorpe is 8 metres, and here at Manor House it's 13 metres, but obviously you've got the ledge to contend with, so I usually just say a length here is 10 metres. Then you can go online and tick that off for them if they're in stage 4.